useful in the escape sequence.
That is true. It's definitely a good damage source, but it looks like we're off.
We are off. To find the Wimfish, apparently, for Uncle, but that's going to end quickly.
Yeah.
We have a 5-bomb upgrade in Link's house.
So no damage yet.
So we've got a regular Link for Spleebie, and it looked like is it a deer or an elk Link for Fantallis?
I honestly can't tell, but also Spleebie's sprite isn't quite normal. This is the one with the changing color caps, so the capsule matches male color.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, they're slightly like... It's a slightly off green from the normal Link, so you can tell that way.
But we have bombs at Uncle.
Oh boy.
Now, interesting enough, though, because we had that 5-bomb upgrade, they got filled up to 15 bombs as opposed to the standard 10.
Oh wow. I didn't know the logic did that. That's awesome.
Considering how inaccurate bombs are, we'll need all the bombs we can get.
Oh yeah, definitely. But we'll see if these runners can make good use of them. I personally like finding bombs sometimes because it means you're guaranteed to get the back of the castle check. But as for fighting, yeah, they're kind of bad.
If you're only using bombs in the escape sequence, you need at least 5. And then you can use pots to get the ball and chain guard.
Right, but that's still 5 chances. And normally you only have 10 bombs, so that's, you know, half of your bombs just at a given. You never know if you're going to miss.
Fantallis has no problem. We got a small key to start.
Spleebie getting through there as well.
Now, for those that may be new to Zelda Randomizer, all the items are randomized. With this being the regular randomizer, the dungeon items stay in the dungeons that they're in, but are randomized as well. So the only 2 items here in Hyrule Castle are a small key and a map. So once we find that map, having already found the small key, everything else will be items going forward.
Yep. So luckily we won't be searching for any keys long outside their dungeons, but Fantallis getting a little stuck, it looks like, trying to get this second guard. And this is what we were talking about with bombs being kind of difficult to use.
Yeah. And speaking of that map, we did find it in the boomerang room, so the rest of the castle will have items. Fantallis has got to be careful with his health, though. He's down to half a heart.
Yeah, that's pretty risky right there. Oh,
he does take a death. Press F to pay respects.
I didn't even see the cloud. I thought it had gone. That took me by surprise.
Yeah, I think it took him by surprise, too.
Yeah, taking a death during the escape sequence is never any fun, for sure. Just a piece of heart in the Zelda chest.
Alright, so we'll get a high five here as Fantallis has to walk all the way back to Zelda's cell as Spleebie is escorting Zelda out.
Hopefully he'll be able to make up some lost time there. Now, in terms of dungeons, I know it's kind of hard to predict Randomizer sometimes, but what do you want to see?
Honestly, I want to see all the crystals in the Light World dungeons, because all of them are obviously the easiest, because they're obviously the early ones.
Right.
I like Thieves Town. I like Pod. And actually like Skullwoods. And so pretty much then it's like either, you're gonna get either Meyer of the remaining 4, you're gonna get one of them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, for the runner's sake, I'm hoping that, you know, the pendants are in the hard, out of reach dungeons like Turtle Rock and such. So I definitely know how that can be when those dungeons are required. Even worse, I hope there are not any progression items in those pendant dungeons, because that's also really brutal.
Well, this is completely anecdotal, I will admit, but the lesson I have learned from commentating and running this tournament thus far has been, all right, we got Quake in the sewers, is that a pendant dungeon will have some important item of progression. It's just a matter of which one. Right,
and how deep in is it? But these are things we shall see as they come. Spleebie's getting close to the end of Escape, so we're going to see pretty quick what's in the back room there. Trying to use Quake, but not realizing it doesn't have a sword, so he can't use... Oh, and he takes a death, too.
Ooh. Now, he won't have to go back as far as Fantallis did.
That does... He is still ahead, slightly. Luckily. It's definitely better to take a death in that second half of Escape, as opposed to the first. Yeah, that room with the rat having a key is one of the harder rooms to do without a consistent attack weapon.
Yeah, especially with bombs.
Yeah, bombs can be pretty hard. King of Burna can be bad sometimes. At least I struggle with it, but we'll see if these runners can get through it. Spleebie taking the magic refills from the pots here. He's going to try to use Quake, but he still doesn't have a sword, so it's still not going to work.
Nope. I wonder if he's forgetting that that's a thing.
Yeah, it's one that's pretty easy to forget. I definitely have tried to go to a pendant dungeon, or a medallion dungeon without a sword before. There we go, getting 3 rats at once. Spleebie manages to get the key.
Yep. The one thing I've learned with trying to put some accuracy in the bombs is you lift it up, and then you let go a little bit before it's going to explode, and that kind of helps with the accuracy a little bit. We got 50 bucks, we got a 5-arrow upgrade, and 50 more bucks.
Oh, a lot of money in the sewers. Wonder why they're keeping it down there, but nothing really useful.
I mean, that money will certainly help with the bottle vendor.
That is true, and it also plays towards Zora, but still not the item I would be hoping to find this early on. I'd be hoping for at least a sword or something besides bombs.
Well, we have one more item here in the sanctuary chest.
And it is 5-bomb upgrade.
Very explosive seed to start.
Oh yeah. The only thing we're missing now is the actual 10-bomb item. And the 10-bomb upgrade.
Well, the 10-bomb item was the thing that Uncle gave you.
Oh wait, yeah, that's true. Except in this case it was 15, so even better. Got Spleebie going up to possibly check the Agana ledge. Whereas Fantallis is just going straight into Lost Woods.
20 bucks from the tree pole.
Also pretty handy for gathering the initial money. Oh, Spleebie killed the bush crab.
Well, there'll be another one. We got a 5-arrow upgrade in the Lost Woods. We'll see what the lumberjacks are holding up today. Just a piece of heart.
Definitely not going to be going back for that. More bomb upgrades.
The seed loves its bombs, apparently.
Definitely so. And yeah, there will be another bush crab here as well that I forgot about. Which Spleebie's going for.
And just green rupees. Yeah, blue rupees.
Yeah, blue rupees. So now we're going to get into Kakariko, and this is where we'll usually find a lot of the early progression in the seed. There's a lot of items packed in here.
All right, well, we're going to start with Blind's Hut on Fantallis' side. We got 10 arrows, $50 again, 10 arrows again, a piece of heart.
Wow, pretty empty blind set so far.
And another 5 arrow upgrade.
Completely empty blind set. Well, we've still got the well and a couple of other places, so hopefully something's here. I have seen seeds where there wasn't anything in Kakariko, and it's always interesting.
I mean, with all these arrows and arrow upgrades we're getting, I would hope we'd see the bow here soon. Oh, there's another 5 bomb upgrade. 5 rupees there. Sorry, I stepped on you there.
Oh, you're all good, and just a piece of heart. 300 rupees, so I think that's all their Zora money, isn't it?
Yeah, and a blue mail, so at least we have some defense.
That will be nice, especially having only 3 hearts, and we got our map check.
2 pendants in the light world, unfortunately. A red pendant at Eastern, a green pendant at Desert, and looked like it was a crystal at Hera, but I couldn't tell if it was 5-6 or not.
Yeah, I missed it as well. I'll have to... And I missed it on the restream as well, so we still aren't sure. And in the bomb hut, we just got a heart container. Well, it looks like we're starting to pick up on some health, at least on Fantallis' side. Now, not finding a bottle means they're not going to be able to check the sick kid right now. But they'll have to come back for that later, potentially.
And actually, with only finding Bobs at this point, Fantallis is going to go ahead and buy more of them, just to be sure. And I imagine Spleebie's going to also, because he just ran out.
Right, and you definitely at least want a bomb for Mini Moldorm Cave. And is it just me, or was that a completely empty Kakariko village?
Well, we still have 2 more places. We have a library, although we need some footwear to get that item on the library ledge.
And it is a bottle.
Okay, that's that could be useful. And now we'll see what's at the race game.
The Fantallis opting to just go for it without checking it, so we'll see if that pays off for him. Spleebie following in Fantallis' footsteps to head down there. And we got... flippers.
Okay, so we have some water toes.
That'll at least make the South Shore easier to check.
It also means Zora is now in logic.
Indeed it does. So there's a good chance Zora might have something. We're gonna need a few more rupees first, though.
Yeah, both of our runners had to pay for extra bombs, but you would think we'd find at least 20 rupees in one of the chests.
You would hope. We'll see if the seed decides to be that trolley or not, as Fantallis heads into the well. Oh yeah, and there's the gimmick of Spleebie's right there with the blue mail hat being blue instead of yellow.
Yeah, I saw that when he got the mail upgrade. Alright, well, we have another piece of heart when you drain the swamp. Now we're gonna see what the chest inside has. More bombs!
Wow, lots of bombs. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the seed goes from here, though. This means there could be a lot of progression inside the dungeons instead of out here, but we'll see what happens.
Well, we've got all of the Zora checks. We've got Sahasrala's closet, and the chests in Eastern. We have Mini Trolldorm Cave here in Ice Rod. And, I mean, if you're new to Randomizer, the logic isn't gonna screw us. It's gonna lead us somewhere.
Right, it is completable. The seeds will always be completable, but we got an Ice Rod and a lamp in Mini Moldorm and Silvers.
And a 5 rupees. So, Fantallis was not wanting... He said he didn't want ice. We didn't know if that meant Ice Rod or Ice Palace, but, well, he's got one of the two.
So we'll see once they get Dark World access whether his wish is granted or not, if it's a dungeon.
Well, with 2 pendants being in the light world, it means 6 of the Dark World dungeons are going to be needed for completion.
Alright, so it's just a 1 out of 7 chance that Fantallis won't have to do Ice Palace, but we shall see. Both the runners got through that mini Moldorm cave with bombs fairly well. That can be kind of difficult sometimes. Spleebie's gonna go ahead and pick up the things Fantallis has got. While over in Ice Rod Cave, just a piece of heart.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and make a prediction now. I think this is an Agaseed.
It very well could be, unless there's something in Sahasrah's closet or in Eastern.
The chances that we find Hammer, Moon Pearl, and Power Glove at this point, Big 20 on Lake Hylia Island, that we find all 3 of those in the few places we have left. I think it's going to be more likely we see Fighter Sword and Cape.
That is definitely a good point. Yeah, we're running real low, and those 3 items, it's going to be a long shot. Spleebie doing a nice strat where you freeze one of the crabs, or really freeze any enemy, and you can throw it at other enemies to kill them.
Well, we got a mirror, so...
Wow.
So that's interesting.
Definitely nice to have, but not quite what we need yet. Although that does give them access to at least the beginning of Tower of Hera. Well, except
no,
they can't get up to Death Mountain because they don't have a glove.
Yeah, getting up to Death Mountain is the problem, but with having the lamp as a fire source, once you can get there and you have either the sword or the hammer, it's full clearable.
Right. So we're hoping to get something from killing these crabs. Not sure what it is he's looking for.
We have some chivalry and a piece of heart in the Waterfall of Wishing.
Just a fetch quest. What we mean by fetch quest, in case none of you are familiar, is if there's one item that just leads to another, then that is a fetch quest. So the shovel will only open up one spot, which is digging in the grove.
All right, we got a cane on the Zora ledge, a red one specifically.
Those flippers, they'll be able to get that too. Fantallis just a bit short for money on Zora, so he's not gonna be able to do that while he's here.
Nope, he'll get the cane of Samaria here, and actually, that is what Spleebie's doing. Also, is just trying to farm money at this point.
That is true. He's only 4 rupees short, so we'll see if he can grab those. And Fantallis has got his cane.
And got a nope out.
Still though, not finding any of our Dark World progression. Chances are creeping ever closer that it is indeed going to be an Ganon play. But we shall see what is located over on the east side in the eastern area.
Alright, so all that we really have left in terms of Sphere 1 checks are all the places here in Eastern, as well as Agina's Cave over by Desert.
Right. I think that's pretty much it with their current item set.
Alright, we got a piece of heart, a bloomerang, and a cape.
Oh, there's 1 out of 2 steps for Ganon right there. Spleebie grabbing his shovel and his piece of heart. Still 4 rupees short though. We'll see if he can. He's gonna try to dig up, and he gets it first go.
Clutch 5 rupees from the shovel.
Wow, that was lucky right there. It's not a strat I think of doing a lot though. It could definitely be useful.
All right, well, we're gonna see what's in Eastern. 3 items here.
And we're gonna see what Zora has in store for us as well.
And basically, it'll be a question of, does Fantallis have to come back to Zora?
And he will.
Oh, it's a power glove.
Oh man. That's a big item to miss, definitely.
Now that opens up Hera.
Yep.
But we still can't get all the way. We can't beat Trolldorm. Trolldorm can only be damaged by a sword or a hammer.
Right, so we'll still need to find one of those two things. We'll see what else is here in Eastern as Fantallis clears it out. But it looks like Spleebie's going to opt to head right up that Death Mountain.
Yep, another 5-bomb upgrade. Now, one thing Fantallis can do with the lamp, he could definitely, there's that rupee room over behind the big key, and you're going to be guaranteed to get said big key. He could go there, get that money, and then head back.
That is true. We'll see if he finds anything else useful before then.
Speaking of which, there is that big key for Eastern Palace.
I believe he's picking up the old man.
There's a map.
Have we seen the compass on Fantallis' side yet? I don't know if I saw it.
I feel like we did, which would mean Armos Knights would have an item.
Alright, we'll see what that ends up being eventually.
Alright, the old man has a big 20.
There's still not a lot of progression. But we are going to see what's up here on Spectacle Rock.
Which we can get since we have that mirror.
Indeed we can. Fantallis, meanwhile, heading over to the vanilla big key chest in Eastern to check his last couple items.
Alright, we have a 10-bomb upgrade. I mean, seriously, we're getting all the explosive stuff here. And a single green rupee.
The Spectacle Rock is a bust, but again, we can still get inside Hera, so we'll see what we got in there.
And Eastern is a bust, but Fantallis has that 20 rupees, so he can now get back to Zora and get that power glove.
Indeed, well, now it's not too often that I see people actually having to stay a bunny there. Normally, like, you've got the Moon Pearl at this point. It's been a while since I've seen a vanilla Death Mountain play like that.
Alright, Spleebie's gonna head into Terra without a sword or a hammer. He's not gonna be able to kill Trolldorm.
Unless he finds one of those in here.
Yep. Oh, hook shot!
Oh.
Strike the earth for a hook shot.
We'll see how long it takes Spleebie to go find that.
Because that opens up east side of Death Mountain that Spleebie cannot get to right now.
Indeed it does. Spleebie opting to use the Ice Rod instead of Samara.
Yeah, he's out of magic. Alright, so there's the compass. Yep, Fantallis is heading back for Zora right now. He's gonna get that power glove.
Yep, so that won't set him behind. Now, not having a sword or a hammer makes these bumper enemies a bit harder to kill, but luckily you can just fall down the hole, reload the room, and it'll generate more pots without generating the enemies. So he'll be able to get through there. Meanwhile, Fantallis going to pick up his gloves. But chat making a good point. If there isn't anything in Hera, then Spleebie probably will end up going for that dig spot pretty soon.
There's the small key. Which,
Spleebie getting the bomb jump.
and there's the map, which means Coffee Break has an item.
Yep, as does Trolldorm, which we still cannot kill.
Nope.
Shovel was in Waterfall Cave, Sundark. We'll see where Spleebie's heading next. If it's does not look like the dig spot.
No, it looks like Eastern.
Yep, I don't blame him. It's definitely a much denser item location than the dig spot would be, but unfortunately we know it's not the correct play.
It's certainly not the wrong play, because again, like, he doesn't know what we know, and he's
Right.
still trying to, you know, figure. He's got to search just as much as Fantallis does.
Right, it's a good play, it's just not the right one.
Yeah, I mean, someone in chat was talking about the fact of, you know, whether or not someone has a lead at this point. I mean, this race thus far has been a tutorial in why you never call early leads, because Fantallis took a death in Escape, then Spleebie took a death and gave up some of that lead, then Fantallis didn't have enough money for Zora and fell behind, but then that led him to go to the shovel spot to get the hook shot. Now he's bet like this is gonna change for a lot of this race. We're not really gonna know who's in the lead until someone's in go mode.
Right. Really, that's the easiest way to tell is whoever gets go mode first, that's the set point where it's like, okay, now they can just go finish. So that's how we can tell. But Fantallis going to head over to the eastern side of Death Mountain, which Spleebie could not get to. We'll see if there's anything major here.
Fantallis skipping Paradox Cave, I imagine. Oh, it was a piece of heart, not the compass.
Ah.
So that actually, so
Armos.
we have found the 3 items. No, we have found the 3 items. The Armos Knights have the compass. We got a heart container on the floating island.
Right, and I imagine Fantallis is, he skipped Paradox Cave the first time, so that once he does Spiral Cave, he could bomb jump back across and just head up to Hera, would be my guess.
That makes sense.
Now with the hook shot, it's a lot easier to kill all these enemies, because the hook shot will kill basically anything that it'll deal damage to. It'll either one-shot stuff or stun them. Or do nothing.
Alright, we have another heart container.
And neither of these runners have checked Agina's cave either, so we'll see how long it takes someone to go there if we run out of items. That's one people usually like to put off unless they have flute or boots.
Yeah, again, the seed has to be completable the way the logic is set up in the randomizer. So we will find something. It's just a matter of what.
Right. But Fantallis entering Paradox Cave, which has got 7 items, and there's the Moon Pearl.
Okay, so now it's pretty even in terms of, is it Aga for Dark World, or is it the hammer? One of those we're gonna have to find, and whenever you find one of those, that means now you can kill Trolldorm.
Right. And we'll see what comes up. First we got a heart container, another piece of heart. It's a lot of hearts so far. Bombs, and a sword, and a bow.
And a bow!
Wow. So that's definitely interesting.
So that puts Hera in play. You can kill Trolldorm, which I imagine Fantallis is gonna do now.
Yeah, definitely.
And we know one of the items in Hera is either on Trolldorm or in the coffee break room.
Right, which
No, I think we got no. We got all 4 dungeon items. There's gonna be one on Trolldorm and one in the coffee break room.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
And then there's Agina's cave. So there's 3 spots that hammer could be. If you don't, here's my question to you: if you don't find hammer in Hera, do you go straight for Aga, or do you go check Agina's cave first?
I would definitely personally check Agina's cave first, because I don't like doing Aga if I can possibly avoid it. But we'll see if one of these runners opts to skip that. What would you do?
There's a part of me that would say... There's a part of me that wants to say the right play is to go check Agina's Cave first because they're the time sync on Aga 1. But
Right.
kind of being in the... If I'm in the runner's mindset right now where both of them have taken deaths or made mistakes, there's a part of me that would almost just go there to try to save a little bit of time and not check an Agina's Cave.
Right. I could definitely see that being a play as well. We'll see what goes through is what the runners end up doing. Meanwhile, Spleebie did manage to find his hookshot, so he's going to come over and find his moon pearl and his bow and his sword. Meanwhile, Fantallis going through Hera.
Yes, chat, Lumberjack with just a piece of heart.
Yep, so Aga is not required for that, but may still be required for Dark World, depending. Well, we shall see. Fantallis is going to be going into Moldorm pretty soon, so we'll see what that item there was.
Yep, we're going to be guaranteed an item on Trolldorm, and we're going to be guaranteed an item in the coffee break room.
Now here's a question. With Spleebie having just found the sword, is he going to go back up into Hera and clear it?
That bomb jump tells me yes.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, that bomb jump tells me Spiral Cave.
Right, he's still got to check that.
And he doesn't have the hammer to get to Hera from there.
Oh, that's true. He'll have to save, or he'll either have to walk back or save warp if he wants to get back up there. Oh, and Fantallis taking the fall.
Getting trolled again.
Yep, Trolldorm is definitely one of the more annoying bosses in this game.
That's why we like to call him Trolldorm.
Oh, yes. Because all of us have been trolled by him at some point or another.
And with Fighter Sword, you are going to face Hyper Trolldorm.
Right, which Fighter Sword spins don't actually do more damage, but if you're charged to spin attack, it's a lot easier to stay on the ledge when Moldorm hits you.
And there's a heart container.
Yep, so nothing in Hera.
No, we still have the coffee break room.
That is true. Nothing on Moldorm, I should say. But we'll see if Fantallis opts to go into the coffee break room, which I know I would, but we shall see.
Yeah, that is for certain. I would go back in as Fantallis is doing, and as we see Spleebie heading back to take care of Trolldorm now that he has that sword.
Yep, so we're gonna see what the item is here, and then I think the last place to check is Agina's Cave, right?
Yeah, that certainly is how it's looking.
Fantallis managing to get the block switch, so he'll be able to, stand up, stretch his legs. It's been half an hour. It's nice to take a little break. We'll see if Spleebie checks that before going up to Moldorm, or if he's gonna head straight up. And he's gonna head straight up.
Oh yeah, Spleebie did get the key, so he could have done that, but...
Alright, well, let's find out if it's worth it. And another sword.
Another sword. Just inching you closer to Aghanim.
Yep, that's two ways he's been put in logic now. And we'll see if Fantallis opts to make that Fateful Agina check, or if he's just gonna head straight out.
I think loading up the hearts says he's going straight there. Yep.
Well,
he's not even bothering with Agina's Cave.
We'll see if that pays off for him, if either of our runners end up checking it. Meanwhile, Spleebie's gonna head up and do his Trolldorm fight. Which would have been a bit easier if he'd gone for that Master Sword in the basement, but...
No way Spleebie knows that, though.
Right, yeah. It's one of those if only you knew moments. Spleebie getting the fast phase. And makes it.
Gonna get that heart container.
Fantallis, meanwhile, making quick work of Agonim's tower. Wow. With the bow and silver arrows, it makes killing things a lot faster.
Silver arrows just make everything faster.
That's definitely true. One of my favorite items, honestly. Even though they're not required and I can do silverless Ganon, I always love finding silvers. Now, is Spleebie gonna go check that Agena cave?
He loaded up on one heart.
So it looks like he might have changed his mind because he's going on down there.
He's going. Oh, he didn't go to the coffee break room and didn't get that Master Sword.
That's true, but he does have the magic cape, so he'll still be able to get into Aghanim, but that Master Sword missing out is definitely not very fun.
Yeah, you need at least the Master Sword to beat the game. The logic will make sure you have at least tempered.
Right. This Master Sword Ganon is never super fun. And we'll see if this is the hammer. Big moment comes up.
Here we go.
And it's a shield.
Fisher Price, my first shield. This is an Agaseed.
Oh dear. So Fantallis' gamble actually paying off.
All right, how many blue balls do you think we're gonna see as Fantallis takes on Aghanim 1?
For the runner's sake, I'm gonna say none, but I know that never happens.
I'm gonna say 4.
4 is probably about right. So yeah, pretty much at this point, I believe Moon Pearl has to be on the ledge so that they can actually do Dark World.
No, we got the Moon Pearl.
Or no, yeah, we have the Moon Pearl already. That's.
So we can access Pyramid Ledge. We can access Catfish. We can get into Pod, but you need the hammer to get to Helmassar.
Right, but with a lot of items in Pod, it's definitely still a play that they might consider.
And with 6 of the 7 crystals being in the Dark World, chances are Pod is going to be one of them.
Right. So we'll see if they go for that or if they end up not doing.
All right, I saw 2 blue balls, but I missed if there were, well, 3 now.
Yeah.
But I didn't see if there were any in the first phase. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I was watching, but failed to count. So we do not know.
Nope, it was just 3 because you got the 3 required ones there, the 3 in the sequence. So yeah, it was only 3 blue balls.
All right. Fantallis finally making his way into the Dark World with almost 40 minutes in.
And a piece of heart on the ledge. At 10 hearts right now, I don't blame Fantallis not going for it.
Right, yeah. It's got with Blue Mail and 10 hearts, you've got plenty of health at this point. I don't know if I'd have gone for it either. Alright, Fantallis, it looks like he's making his way over to Catfish. It's definitely a good early play to make, that way you don't have to go back for it. That is a long check, it's a big time investment. Let's see if we've got anything on it.
Let's see. Just a big 20.
Still, it's nice to have that out of your mind and out of the way. And here's our Dark World check.
All right. Pod is the other pendant. Ice and Thieves Town are your 5/6 crystals.
Sorry, Fantallis, but you are going to have to deal with ice today, in both forms.
Yes.
So although we don't know what it was, either way, he has to do it. With Turtle Rock being a crystal. Oh yeah, with Hookshot, they do have access to the west side. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Just funny, because you know that's the vanilla, but it's been a long time since I played vanilla.
And it's also one of those things where you so often you don't have you don't have hook when it's an Agassiz, you don't have hook shot this soon.
Right. Fantallis is gonna make the early checks here though. Having mirror is definitely helpful here.
Yep, we're gonna get a graveyard ledge check here.
We'll also probably get a ledge check, which we already have the magic cape, so they'll be able to actually get that if it's anything important.
Yep, just a big 20 in graveyard ledge.
Yep, I think that was Spleebie also got the 3 blue balls, which I believe the RNG is set to be the same for both of them the first time, right?
Yep, because this is meant because the randomizer is meant for speed running. Any sort of randomization that could be an advantage to one racer over another. Things like AGA, blue balls, things like
Ganon teleports.
Ganon teleports, digs is a dig game.
Chess game.
Those things are the same. Yep. Well, chess game is just it's always the second one has the item.
Right, so they just took out. Oh, that's a pretty big item.
Fluted the bumper cave.
Yep, and Fantallis going right for it. Flute, one of my favorite and least favorite items, depending on when I find it. This was the story yesterday. If you find it too early, it can open up a lot of places that you forget stuff. There's Spleebie doing his map check. But finding that flute there is also nice because since Fantallis is going into Thieves Town, he'll be able to just mirror and activate it right there.
Yep. And he's heading for Village of Outcasts first.
Or yeah, Village of Outcasts. I forget they have 2 different names, to be totally honest. I just consider the whole thing Thieves Town.
That is true. But technically it is different.
Oh yeah.
$20 in the C-shaped house.
It's funny, Spleebie taking pretty much the same route Fantallis did, checking Pyramid Ledge and going up to Catfish. We'll see if his checks continue to be the same or if he'll opt to hop over into Pod. Which would be a gamble since it's a pendant, but there are a lot of items in there.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly forgot that, oh yeah, Hookshot can get you to West Side.
Right.
I would, if I were to remember that if I was running this would be, I would honestly do this, because you always want to do Crystal Dungeons first.
Right.
If you can.
That's definitely true.
Alright, so we got 4 items in Thieves Town. You cannot access the big chest without the hammer, so we can't do that one until we find it.
Right, so it won't be a full clear, but you can kill the boss with just a sword or anything that does damage, really, except bombs.
And honestly, if with knowing there's only 4 items, it is possible to figure out that that item is not necessary, but finding the map is not going to be helpful with that.
Right. It's just putting more items deeper in. Yep, and Spleebie opting to go over to the west side as well. So that's going to make him find his flute.
It'll certainly pay off for him.
Oh, yeah. Looks like he was almost skipped the graveyard ledge check, but he's going back for it.
Fantallis also forgot the third chest. And Fantallis, you might want to go back. You forgot a chest.
It's the wrong way. We'll see if he remembers. If there's something big in that chest, that could cost him a lot. But it can be easy to do. I've skipped items before, because once you get in the zone, like, if you accidentally go the one way first, you can just be an autopilot and totally forget that you didn't check the other one.
That's why a lot of times you want to have like a muscle. You almost want to have a muscle memory to doing these dungeons.
Right. Just a consistent pattern that you follow. But we won't know if that chest was anything big until Spleebie makes his way over there and grabs it.
Well, here's the thing. We found the map. We found the small key. We had to find the big key.
Right.
So if we find the compass, that chest he skipped, plus the Thieves' Town big chest, is going to have something.
Right.
All right, there's a big 20 to start.
Spleebie's going up to grab his flute. Now I missed, you said it was just a big 20 up in the top of Thieves' Town?
Yep.
Okay. So still no compass. But there is still one more item we can get in the basement and one more item on blind. So unless one of those is the compass. Looks like Spleebie's opting to go out to Thieves' Town. Or Thieves' Town, Skullwoods.
Skullwoods. And there's the compass.
So it is an item in that chest.
Both in that chest and the Thieves' Town big chest.
Right. Well, Spleebie taking an interesting route through it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen anyone fall through that hole to get there, but it makes sense.
Well, that pinball room, because of the randomizer not in making sure you soft lock, there will always be a small key in that pinball room. So a lot of runners usually avoid it unless they need to get the small key.
Alright, so it's interesting to go for that first, because looks like Spleebie's going to reset just in case he takes a death. Reset his entrance point, I mean.
Yep. And Fantallis is already in phase 3. And down goes blind. For a heart container.
Spleebie, meanwhile, finding the Skullwoods map and the Titan's mitts.
Okay.
So that
means
up good things.
That opens up Meyer. Medallion pending, though.
Right, it also opens up Desert Palace, which is a pendant, though, so unless we run out of places to check, probably won't be seeing that.
There's a part of me that would almost... That being my way into Desert, there's a part of me that would almost check Desert while I'm there just because you have the time.
Right.
Fantallis, however, is going to head into Skullwoods, so we will see that he will get the Titan's mitts as well.
Right.
All right, and there's the big key.
So we might see the runners going back for that. But we can't get to Mothula yet because no fire rod. So we don't know what 2 items are back there.
Nope. Well, we have one. We have one of the items. The second item, if it's not on the big chest, it will be in that back area, which, again, we have to get there anyway because we got to kill Mothula for the crystal.
Right.
BR Boss asking about the medallions. They're randomized just like everything else, so we don't know for certain yet what the medallion is to get into Mire.
Right. So they could potentially have access to both the dungeons, or they could have access to neither of them. It all depends. But we'll see what the medallions are once the runner goes to check. Meanwhile, Spleebie heading down into Village of Outcasts after clearing out what he could in Thieves Town. Or Skullwoods, wow. Apparently Skullwoods is Thieves Town today.
It's late at night, man. It's all right. I mean, I don't know if you're on the East Coast like me, but it's we're doing late night rando here.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're getting up there on the East Coast. That's for sure. Yeah, no, it's not super late for me yet, but we'll see. Spleebie going into the chest game. Just gets more bombs.
Ladies and gentlemen, to honor Hyrule, we ask that you join us in the playing of the national Swag Duck Anthem.
Rise, remove your hats, post your salutes.
And the duck is amok for Spleebie.
Thanks for your patriotism there.
All right. We had a question about the 2 sword upgrades. So one of the swords was in the coffee break room of Hera. Spleebie decided not to go get that. The other sword was
Paradox Cave.
Paradox Cave, yes.
And both runners have gotten that one. Fantallis going to check the mire area, or desert area, I guess, as he's hopped off the ledge.
Saw a heart container there, and Fantallis is actually the one that did not check Agina's cave.
Yeah, we'll see if he goes back for it at this point. We know there's nothing there, but as a runner, you never know.
Ooh, that was so quick, I missed what was on Mire.
Yeah, let me check the restream. It is... Wow, I missed it again. It looked like it might have been Ether, but don't quote me on that.
Alright, now we're gonna see with this chest that Fantallis missed in Thieves Town. Alright, so we can get in and finish Mire. $5, so he got lucky on missing that one.
That's for sure. I missed what was in Checkerboard Cave, but it must not have been important.
Some swag.
Swag indeed. Looks like that's the bug net. Don't know if I'd go for it either, but it is handy to have.
Yeah, Fantallis is gonna go ahead and head into Mire.
Yeah, which, as has been said, we can full clear at this point. There are only 2 items in there, but it's definitely nice to get crystal dungeons out of the way when you can.
I mean, with the silver arrows and 11 hearts on blue mail, I mean, Vitreous is not a walk in the park, but certainly easier.
Although with bow and silvers, Vitreous becomes pretty easy. Though you do still have to be careful, definitely. Fantallis making quick work of the first room here.
Is it done?
All right, so while we have a moment, let's consider what we need for go mode. We certainly need a fire rod.
Yep.
We need a hammer. Those two things are certain.
Potentially, we need more medallions to get into Turtle Rock.
That's honestly it.
We
Fire
could
rod?
need boots.
We could.
If there's a 1 in 22 chance that we would need boots, but we'll see.
But in terms of what we will expect for go mode, we just need a fire rod and a hammer and maybe a medallion, depending on what we need for Turtle Rock.
Yep, and it looks... I think you're right. I think that is pretty much it. But yeah, boots will not be required for desert, hopefully, since desert is just a pendant. Unless there's a very small chance that one of our last items is locked in there, but we'll cross that bridge if we come to it. And then that's pretty much it.
And actually, while we're thinking about it,
Well, there's the
we have. So as I was about to, we get our literacy right as I was about to talk about our pedestal hype index. We need hammer for pods. It can't be hammer. It certainly can be fire rod or a medallion. So.
Right.
Our go mode is not that far away, and our pedestal hype is pretty low as well.
So we'll see what ends up coming of that. Spleebie, meanwhile, taking on blind. It's cleared out Thieves Town. Except for that big chest. Spleebie taking a good amount of hits, but gets through the fight.
Gets it done.
Now, I missed what the other item in Misery Mire was, other than the book, but looks like Fantallis has found it because he has the big key and is going ahead to clear the dungeon.
I feel like the book was the only item I saw from him, though.
Yeah.
I saw two small keys, the big key, and a book, and that was it.
So it's possible he's just gambling on things not being in those chests, or the item being on Vitreous, maybe. But we'll see what happens when we come to it. Spleebie, meanwhile, is going to head down and do the digging game, which we haven't seen it from Fantallis, have we?
Nope. Fantallis basically unstuck the duck and then went straight for Mire.
Yeah. And just 3 digs for some bombs.
3 digs for 3 bombs.
How about that? We'll see what else is in the Southern Dark World here, because there's still Stumpy. There's still the ledge cave down there. There's also, since we have Titan's Mitts, there's Blacksmith.
Yep. Spleebie is going to take Jeremiah the Bullfrog and get him home.
Unfortunately, no world tour for Jeremiah today, though, since we have that mirror.
Yep. All right, and Fantallis is going to be into Vitreous.
Oh, and we also have to keep in mind that for Spleebie, go mode will also be a sword, since he did not get the one in Hera.
All right, we got a small key there.
We'll see if Fantallis goes back in to get a second item. Spleebie getting the fire shield, though, from the blacksmith. Appropriate item to get from them.
And Fantallis is just gonna nope out.
Oh, it looks
unless I missed him getting a second item, I'm pretty sure we only saw the one, and it was the book.
Yeah, but our tracker is Space Cowboy letting us know in chat that it was just 20 rupees as a second item in Mire, so it is empty.
Okay, so then this is the right play, or Fantallis did the right play. Okay, small key is on the torch, so we are boots locked out of getting everything in desert. And since that's the map, we're just boots locked out of desert completely.
Yep. So we'll see if anything ends up being in there. But there's a pretty low chance that we're gonna need boots for that. We still got a lot of dungeons to go before we'll know that, though.
We have the arrow, Stumpy giving us the arrow of destiny. It's almost like Stumpy is pretending to be Groot and just extending out his arm, giving us a wooden stick and sticking a pointy arrow on it. Or a metal piece of metal on it. There we go.
He'll only in his dreams, though. But Spleebie's gonna go over and check our hype cave. At least, hopefully, it's a hype cave.
We also missed that, or I saw it, but South of Grove had a bottle, so that will also get us a sick kid.
I was wondering what was in there. I missed it. Just 100 rupees.
We got $100. Heart container, $20, $50, and 5-arrow upgrade.
Wah, wah. Not a lot of hype in Hype Cave today. And with Spleebie taking the purple chest down over to the lockpicker man. And in the purple chest, we just have 20 rupees.
Yep, just a big 20.
Where's Spleebie gonna head off to now? Looks like he's gonna go do his mire. I'm trying to think what else is left in the overworld. They've checked a good amount of it. There's still Dark Death Mountain though, and other than that, I think that's all they can access right now. But they haven't checked already. Nothing in the Mire Shed, but I believe we saw that earlier, so no surprise there. Meanwhile, Fantallis is going to go pick up his fire shield from the blacksmiths, and really that's about it from over there as well.
Alright, so to your question earlier, we only have the 2 chests, well, 1 chest, because one has to have the small key and pod. That's really what we're down to at this point.
Yeah, not a lot we can do without the hammer. There's also the first couple of chests in Swamp. You can't get super far in Swamp without the hammer, but there could be at least 1 item in there. So I said a couple chests, but there's only 1, because the first one will always have a small key outside of Key Sanity. But there's also Sick Kid, I just realized, because the bottle. Or have we checked Sick Kid already?
No, we have not checked Sick Kid.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember if that was our first bottle or not. So we're also going to find out that our desert is boots locked today. But yeah, we're running real low on spots real quick. Unless we find an item. Looks like Spleebie not remembering what was, or didn't check what was. Never mind, he's just looting out. Looks like he's gonna go do the Sick Kid check.
Alright, let's see what Sick Kid has. Just a big 20. We're gonna
Oh,
get,
yeah.
oh, we're gonna get a Bombos tablet from Fantallis, which Spleebie cannot do.
That is true. He cannot. And just a
But
piece of
it's-
heart so far.
But with Spleebie going back up here, no, he has Titan's Mist. This is Dark Death Mountain.
Did Spleebie not go into Mire?
Nope.
Because, yeah, I do believe it's medallions work with the fighter's sword, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Okay, I wanted to make sure. Because, yeah, Mire is open, but it looks like he just opted not to check it. So he doesn't have his book and won't be able to check the tablet up here for us.
Fantallis, meanwhile, is gonna get his Tripe Cave.
Tripe Cave. I like it. But Spleebie's checking Dark Death Mountain, which, with Hookshot Cave open to us and the floating island, that's another 7 items that could be up here. And we gotta find out what opens up Turtle Rock. Some bombs and 10 arrows.
10 arrows.
Not a lot so far. But there is still a Hookshot Cave. Looks like Fantallis is gonna go do the quick swamp check.
Yeah? And it's Quake for Turtle Rock, so that's the only medallion we need, so we're just down to a Fire Rod and Hammer away from Go mode.
We could potentially also need Bombos in case Fire Rod doesn't appear before we have to go into ice.
That is true. $20 starting Hookshot Cave. Another $20. There's the Fire Rod.
Well, never mind about that Bombos.
And a 5-arrow upgrade. Now, what this also means is the pedestal is officially dead.
Yep, nothing can be on it at this point. Unless we need boots. Which we won't be needing because Desert Palace is boots locked, so never mind. But we're gonna see what this item in Swamp is that we can access without the hammer. And it's just the compass.
So out we go.
Yep. Looks like Spleebie's going back into the dark world up here. Oh yeah, with the Fire Rod he can now clear out Skull Woods.
And Taos gonna do a sick kid here.
Grab his big 20. So as for dungeons that they have access to, we can get into. Wait, we can't get into Turtle Rock. Never mind. It requires the hammer.
Oh yeah, we do need the hammer for Turtle Rock.
Yeah. So we cannot get in there. We've got Skullwoods that Spleebie's doing right now.
Ice Palace is partial,
Yeah.
but you need the hammer to finish.
Right. So you could clear out a lot of it, but not full clear it. So there are 2 items in the back of Skullwoods here, so we'll see what these 2 are.
Pod is still available.
That is true. We're getting to the point if they don't find anything in here or in Ice Palace, then we're gonna have to make that dive into the pod.
Well, there's the that 5-arrow upgrade is the second item in Skull Woods, so we know Mothula won't have anything, but we need that crystal.
Right. Now, Ice Palace, while it's not full clearable, we can kill Cold Stare.
Nope, you need the hammer to get to Cold Stare.
Oh wait, that's true. I totally forgot about that. Which I've made that same mistake in runs too, so that's something I gotta keep in mind.
Malachris is asking, stealing keys is not a part of the logic, correct? No, actually it is. Because
Really?
the logic has to consider that you use your keys in the worst possible way.
Right, so while it won't consider, like, it won't require you to steal a key, it does prepare for that in case you do. So it'll still be clearable. But you will never be required to steal a key.
Spleebie is in Nemocula.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's doing a lot of Dark World bosses with the fighter sword. Or will be if he doesn't find a sword soon. That's what I meant.
Alright.
Yep, there's our compass. And Fantallis is going to come over and check the other tablet. Couldn't remember the word.
If this is the hammer, this is going to be a huge advantage for him.
Oh, yeah. But Spleebie's just running out of spots, and just bombs for Fantallis there.
Just more explosives.
But Spleebie's going to have to go into Meyer at some point soon here, because he's running low on locations as well.
Yep. Well, I mean, the book, all the book does is just the 2 tablets, because we know nothing of importance can be on the pedestal.
Right. That's a good point, I guess, yeah.
And it looks like both of our runners are converging on pod.
Yep, it's turning into the only option at this point. Except for that Ice Palace early clear, but I definitely would prefer not to dip Ice Palace if I can avoid it, so this is probably what I would do.
Well, I have to think the hammer's here. They've pretty much exhausted all of their checks at this point. It's either in pod or it's in Ice Palace. It's got to be in one of those 2 places.
Right. I would definitely rather check pod first, just to see before checking Ice Palace, realizing it's not there, and having to go back to pod and then come back.
Yeah, I would certainly do pod before ice.
Absolutely. But we'll see what's in here as Spleebie comes and checks the first chest, which is just a key.
Yep. And Spleebie, okay. That was an accidental nope.
Yeah, misinput. I was gonna say, I know he can keep track of key logic fairly well, but that would be a pretty big risk. Even if he could keep track of that. Looks like Fantallis also gonna come take the bow locked route before going and checking deeper. Luckily, since we do have that bow, we're not going to be seeing the potion glitch at all today, which I don't know if I've ever seen that in a tournament race yet.
In my race, 2 weeks ago, my opponent did the potion glitch, but forgot one chest, and that one chest had the one thing he needed.
Oh dear. Yeah, that one chest, like when you skip one chest, that can either be nothing or it can really cost you the race sometimes.
Chat asking, have we checked first chest in swamp? Yes, it was the compass.
Yep, so nothing in swamp. Meanwhile, Spleebie keeping track of that key logic, knowing that the chest at the top just has to be another small key, so he's not going to go check that. Or maybe he is. Shows you that I know the key logic really well.
I am not as proficient with the logic as Dr. Bob Tastic is. I can assure you of that.
That's something that I need to learn, definitely, because it could be helpful. But there's
Well, there was a big key, so it was certainly a key, but a more important key, shall we say. All right. So that's most of the keys in the front. So now time for the party in the back and see what items await us here in pod.
Is that 4 keys or 5 in the front half? Don't know if I remember.
It was 4 and a big.
Okay. Yeah, and there are 6 small keys in this dungeon. So there are still 2 more back here somewhere, but that means there are still
There's
a
one
lot.
of them.
Yeah. There are still several items. I don't know the exact number by heart.
5.
5, okay.
$300 is the first one.
And I believe Fantallis checking the second one was also just rupees.
I'll check it on the restream.
Oh no, it was a sword.
It was tempered sword.
Well, that puts Spleebie, he's not going to be required to find a sword to finish the game. Tempered is definitely nice, but you can do Ganon with the Master Sword.
This is the point where I do have to reference a race I commentated earlier in the week where runner was ahead and lost because he had to do Master Sword Silvers. Or no, Master Sword Silverless, and his opponent had Butter Sword and Silvers.
Oh wow.
So I do have to put that disclaimer in there. Alright, last item check we can do here in pod. And it's the map.
So the hammer's pretty much got to be an Ice Palace, right?
Yeah, because Helmsar has to have an item, but it can't be the hammer because you need the hammer to get there. So It's an Ice Palace.
Oh dear.
Although Spleebie is going to do Meyer.
Which is definitely a good call, because as far as he knows, hammer could be in there. We know it's not, but...
And Fantallis, meanwhile, is going to go to Skullwoods, which he might be thinking that hammer is there, and we also know it's not.
So at this point, we're just seeing things that the other runners have already done.
Which would be a good time. Which would be a good time as we retrace a whole bunch of steps. That be sure to give both Spleebie and Fantallis a follow on Twitch. They are putting on quite the show for us, and they deserve your follows.
Yeah, they're definitely 2 fantastic runners. I also want to give shout-outs real quick while we're waiting to our tracker, Space Cowboy 2011, who's doing a fantastic job at keeping us updated. Yeah, after hammer, that's go mode, isn't it? So we're having to wait for that. I don't know what the name is. The floating damaging ball thing to get out of his way.
Fire bar? I don't know. Or a fire snake, more likely.
Yeah. Fire snake sounds good. Let's go with that. Oh, I wonder what that bunny sprite was on Fantallis' end.
I couldn't tell. I looked at it, but it was really quick.
Fantallis making real quick work of Mothula, though. With Tempered Sword, that's pretty quick fight. If you can do it, right? Now, Mothula is kind of annoying, because if you hit him into the spikes, he will not take damage. Kind of a weird gimmick in the game. So he can be kind of difficult unless you can get that positioning properly.
Fantallis gonna head back and get that second item that we know is a 5-arrow upgrade.
Yep, so nothing there. And then at that point, I think he'll just be led to Ice Palace, because he'll be out of places to check.
And actually, this will even up the runners a little bit. I mean, the only difference will be the missed sword on Spleebie's end. But in terms of crystals, they're going to be pretty close to each other.
Right,
And
but it's
Fantallis-
also possible Spleebie might go check the tablets, since he just barely got the book.
Oh, that is true. There will be that. Because I imagine Spleebie will want to do that before attempting Ice Palace.
Right, because if the hammer is there and you go into Ice Palace and can't clear it, that's a huge time sink for sure. But here we see Fantallis doing Ice Palace, possibly against his wishes. Well, the first chest coming up in this south room here. Luckily with the hook shot, these penguin enemies can be killed fairly easily. And Tempered Sword as well.
There's a small key. Now, what would be really trolly is if the hammer isn't here, and instead it's something like the mushroom or the powder that is fetch quests you to the hammer.
Yeah, that would be pretty brutal. I had something kind of similar in my race yesterday, though. We're clearing out pendant dungeons looking for the mirror for go mode. And instead of getting the mirror in the end of Pendant Turtle Rock, we got the book, which then opened up Desert Palace.
Wow.
Which then had the mirror. It was a pretty bad seed. But here we see Spleebie fighting Vitreous, and despite having low health, he's probably going to come out alright, since he has those silvers.
It could also be the... I hate to say it, since you just mentioned it about your race yesterday, but we could also find the boots, and then the boots lead us back to desert.
Oh, let's not do that to them. We'll see if that's what the seed has. That would be pretty awful. We'll be taking a minute to think, it looks like.
Very nice, using one sword spin to get all those pen gators.
Yeah, that can be very difficult to do.
There's another small key.
Now, Fantallis can't actually get any of the chests up here, because this is the point where the dungeon gets hammerlocked.
Yep, and he just saw it.
Which means it has to either be an iced tea room or in the big chest, depending on whether we get the big key first. Or it could be in the freezer room, right down here.
Yep.
Well, we know one of these chests has got to be hammer.
Or something that leads to
Or
it.
yeah, one of those other silly items.
Go out like a boots!
Oh dear.
What are those indeed?
Well, I don't believe... there's still iced tea room, but I think that's the last chest we can access before we're gonna have to make that desert dive.
Yeah.
That is awful.
Fantallis is about to remember that, hey, you kind of need a hammer to get to Cold Stare.
Yep, I've done that exact same thing. And it looks like he's not going to check iced tea room. He's just going to nope out and go to desert. Or yeah, there's also, I guess there's also the Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb.
Okay. Spleebie is doing a pedestal check. Spleebie I would hope Spleebie knows that a hammer cannot be there because of pod.
Right, but I'm like in a race situation, I can see, you know, not thinking about that. It would definitely be, red mail.
Well, we certainly won't be getting that anytime soon.
Yeah, because like you can keep track of these things while you're playing Randomizer, but definitely in a race setting, especially if you're like nervous or tense at all, it can be really easy to, you know, forget, hey, there's not actually anything that can be there. Especially when you're down to the wire like this, looking for one item, I could definitely see mistakenly checking that. Just a hard container.
All right, so to desert we go.
I was about to say Spike Cave, but we also need the hammer for that, so.
And actually, Fantallis never saw what was on the lumberjack ledge, so he's about to find out that it's just a piece of heart.
He's going for it blind, too. But I guess might as well at this point.
Yeah, at this point, if you haven't checked it, don't waste the time double checking it.
Right. Now it's possible Spleebie might also remember Hera while he's looking for this last item.
Renko Rocket asking, can someone explain why you know nothing is good on Ped? So, for the pedestal, you have to get the 3 pendants to pull whatever item is there. So, we have, in order to do that, the items that we need to clear the pendant dungeons means that it can't be on the pedestal because you need that item to get the pendant to get the pedestal. By way of the fact that Palace of Darkness needs the hammer to full clear and it's a pendant, that means that the hammer cannot be on the pedestal, and the hammer is the one thing we need before we can finish this game.
Right, especially with us having found boots at this point, hammer is going to be the last item that is required.
Chad also bringing up a good point that Sahasrahla could also be holding the hammer.
That's true. Desert Palace is clearable with those boots.
And honestly, if you're here and you haven't found the hammer yet, I'd go beat Lamulus.
Yeah, I probably would too. Especially with it being the green pendant. Oh,
but there's the hammer.
Hammer is there.
1 hour, 28 minutes, and 39 seconds. Fantallis is officially in go mode. So that was a required double dip of Ice Palace. You had to go to Ice to get the boots, and then go back to Desert. Although, I do have to say now, had you stolen a key from the back, that required double dip would not have been there.
That is true. Well, it's definitely something to consider in future. I've never really thought about that. Because you can steal the key from the back, you just have to remember later on that you did it. If you need to go back and clear desert. I believe he's going up Death Mountain to at least check the tablet. We'll see if he dives back into Hera either.
I mean, now that Fantallis is officially in go mode, I can comfortably say at this point that Fantallis has a lead.
Oh, definitely. Spleebie's still looking for that hammer, but he's still got to make the dip into ice to then go over to desert to go back to ice. So he's definitely behind at this point. So you never know with these races, things can turn around really fast. Spleebie about to get his disappointment on the ether tablet. Bombs on the wrong tablet. Well, looks like he's making the dip.
Yep, he'll get those boots, and then he'll be going back out.
Nice. That can be kind of a tricky shot with the fire out there to get that freeze orb from that angle, but you'll be nailing it pretty nice. But Fantallis is about to make his dip into Cold Stare. Now the good part, or at least what I would find enjoyable about being in Go mode now, is you get to Go mode both Swamp Palace and Turtle Rock.
Fantallis does get Cold Stare in a corner.
It doesn't quite get to finish it off.
He gets one puffball down though. There's the second. And there's the third.
Nicely done by Fantallis there.
For a red meringue. And the crystal, more importantly.
Alright, so Fantallis just 2 dungeons away from being able to climb Ganon's tower.
Yep, he'll head to Swamp Palace next and then Turtle Rock.
Nice double Stalfos skill from Spleebie there. It's one of my favorite tricks, honestly. It looks really cool. Spleebie going for the Ice Palace bomb jump as well. It's going to be kind of a difficult bomb jump, at least with the positioning. But it's definitely useful.
I mean, honestly, in the situation that they're in right now, you really don't want to do the bomb jump, because the bomb jump is really only helpful for getting to Cold Stare faster. If you don't need since you can't get to Cold Stare and you really have no business on that second to last basement floor, you really don't need the bomb jump in this instance.
Right, but they could be, like, when they both did it, they could have been banking on finding Hammer in one of these chests.
That is true.
But yeah, I can definitely agree that, like, sometimes you don't always have to go for the bomb jump. But it does make it a little bit faster, but it really depends on how much time you invest in it. If you go for it a lot of times and miss, then it doesn't really end up making up the time. Spleebie about to get his boots.
All right. So for those that may have just joined us, let's kind of recap everything we saw. Fantallis died in Escape because they got bombs to start. But unfortunately, Spleebie died also, but only when he got to the sewer part, so he didn't have to go back as far as Fantallis did. Fantallis... What was the other thing he forgot to do? He also forgot... Well, I know... Okay, so we know Spleebie on his way to Death Mountain the first time, the shovel spot had the hook shot, so he had to do a double trip to...
Up
Death Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it turned out it was also an Agaseed, because again, we just found the hammer, and Titan's mitts were in the Dark World, so
This is... Between all the explosives and money we got, this was certainly a very unique seed that I have ever seen.
Oh yeah. Definitely a pretty decently trolly one for sure. Spleebie not really realizing that he's got everything he can at this point. So we'll see how long it takes him to realize that. Meanwhile, Fantallis, though, making really quick work of Swamp Palace, which is a very fast dungeon when you don't have to grab any of the chests along the way.
Bits were in Skullwoods. But Fantallis is into Argus.
Spleebie now about to realize that he can't do Cold Stare.
And one silver arrow to the face finishes off Argus for Fantallis and gets crystal number 6.
Yep, so now it's just a hop up to Turtle Rock for Fantallis and clearing that out, and then he gets to go straight to Ganon's Tower from there.
Yes. If you are new to the Speed Gaming channels, there's a little game that we like to play when we get to Ganon's Tower. We are not doing that game yet, so if you know that game, we're not doing that game yet. I'm merely saying this so that because if you're new and you'd like to participate in this little game and get in the leaderboard, you either need to be subscribed to one of our Speed Gaming channels or have donated 250 bits. Once Fantallis has gotten that 7th crystal, we will then do this game that, again, we are not starting yet.
Alright, and we'll tell you more about that when the time comes. But meanwhile, Spleebie doing his checks. He's going to realize pretty quick here he's going to have to go into Desert Palace. Definitely not a fun spot to be in, for sure. Now, if you were Fantallis, at this point, would you feel ahead or behind? Or would you not really know?
I would feel behind.
Because yeah, with the order he grabbed some of the items, and with the deaths that have happened, it's interesting how this can happen. You will feel behind, but in reality you'll be ahead. Like, it really depends on the seed being trolly or not.
The general rule of thumb when you race Randomizer, you always assume your opponent did everything right and you did everything wrong.
Right, and that can lead you to take some gambles sometimes. It'll either gain you time or lose you a lot of time, but it's what you have to do to try to make it up. And Spleebie's finally gonna go and make his desert check. Now Fantallis does still have to check most of the chests on the front side. Because you do still need to find the big key before you can clear the dungeon.
You need the big key, and you need to find 4 small keys. You can steal one from the pokey, if possible.
Right, but at this point, you only generally do that if you already have the big key. And you're in go mode.
Because if you haven't found the big key by the time you get to that pokey right before the vanilla big key chest, spoiler alert, that big key is on the vanilla big key chest.
Yep. But there's the big key.
Alright.
Spleebie about to finally find his hammer and be in go mode in about 40 minutes.
Alright, so we'll be guaranteed in the chain chomp room to have a small key because you need 2 before you can get down to the next floor.
Well, it looks like Spleebie's actually going to opt to clear out Swamp Palace before going back to ice.
And this certainly is a thing you could do.
Yeah. It's not going to make a huge difference in the long run since, you know, there are no progression items anymore. We have them all. But you never know. He could find another sword in there if he opts to clear any of it. But being also in Go mode, the chances of that are pretty low.
All right, Fantallis is going to get the key, and since he has the big key, he ain't worrying about that the no big key chest, because at best, you burn a key to find a key.
Right. Especially feeling behind, that's probably a risk I would have taken as well. Or a risk. It's a choice I would have made as well. It's gonna skip out on Mimic Cave as well. No surprise there.
Yeah, with tempered sword and silver arrows, you have all you need to get to beat Ganon at this point.
Yep, tempered, silvers, blue mail, bottles. They've got it all. All the nice comfort zone items.
Yeah.
Fantallis already having all the keys he needs isn't even going to check the key in the roller room, or the chest in the roller room there.
Or the what's on Laser Bridge.
Right, yeah. Spleebie's still, when he fights all these bosses, he's gonna have to do it with the Master Sword, which is gonna put him even further slightly behind. Here we have Fantallis heading into Trinex.
Here we go.
Fantallis getting the 5 hits on the Firehead. And the 5 hits on the Ice Head. Now it's ideally just a spin attack and a slash away, but this positioning is pretty precise to get that, so we'll see.
Yep.
And he misses the second spin, but still makes really quick work.
All right, so as for that game that we are now starting, there are 22 locations where that Ganon's Tower big key can possibly be. If you would like to play in this game, go ahead and put a number between 1 and 22 where you think that big key can be. Darkened Sky, where would you like to guess today?
I have been saying the number 8 for like all the races I have watched, so I'm going to go ahead and say the number 8 again.
I am going to go with 7. You can put in numbers until Fantallis enters Ganon's Tower. At that point, the guesses will be closed.
Remember, as Jax Ruffy said before, you only get put on the leaderboard if you are a supporter of Speed Gaming. So if you're a subscriber or have donated 250 bits. But it's definitely still a fun game to play regardless.
All right, guesses are closed. Fantallis is going to do right side. All right, let's see what we got. Chest number 1. I actually missed it. Chest number 2. Piece.
Chest number 1 was a small key. Spleebie's going to go ahead and fill up on potions, though.
Yeah, Yeah, I had to move my window to make sure that I hit the stop the game when chat saw it, and I didn't have it all the way over, so I missed what that first chest was.
Oh man. Yeah, Spleebie's going pretty quick though, making up some ground. But we'll see if it'll be enough. Fantallis is opting meanwhile to clear out the whole right side.
Number 3, $300. Number 4, there it is.
Well, now it's just a step up the tower. Which is a bit more difficult than it sounds, but at least he did remember to grab that small key. You do need one small key before heading up this tower, or you will not be able to get all the way to the top.
So, the correct answer was 4. The closest guess from a sub or supporter was 3 from Piper Jack, so congratulations.
Yep, and now you can see we've got that leaderboard there. Fantallis is going to start making his way up the gauntlet. Gets a nice key dash there, though. Now, key dashes, if anyone's not familiar with them, normally when you try to Pegasus Boots into a door, you'll bounce off it. But if you're any amount, like if you're any set of 4 pixels away from the door, so like 4, 8, 12, 16, if you dash there, you'll just dash straight through the door. Not sure why it works, but it's a pretty cool thing to do.
All right, Fantallis is officially into the gauntlet at this point. From here, it's all a matter of execution.
Fantallis running a bit low on health. Didn't see if he has what he has in his bottles. I haven't been keeping track. And without powder, it's a bit hard to refill on health on the way up here as well. Just barely missing that last shot there. So he's not going to quite one-cycle Amulet. Spleebie's going to have to do a Master Sword Cold Stare over here, which is not as fun as Tempered Sword for sure.
Blue Mail will help a little bit, but still could be perilous.
Oh yeah. Not to mention time consuming. But he's going to opt to use one of his blue potions and get that fire up back. And that makes real quick work of the rest of the puffballs. Now Spleebie's still got to do Turbo Rock before he can head up. Trying to figure out how far behind he'd be at this point, time-wise. Fantallis, meanwhile, is about to enter Moldorm 2. Which is getting pretty close to the end of the tower here. Spleebie's going to refill on that potion, though, before heading back up.
Down goes Trolldorm.
No falls this time.
Trolldorm's last possession is triple bombs. Very appropriate. This was such a bomb-heavy seed to start. that Trolldorm has some bombs for us at the very end. Just to underscore the amount of explosives we found throughout this race.
Yeah, just sealing the deal there.
But Fantallis is into Aga 2. Gets a double there.
Just a single.
There's a single there, so we're at 4. That's gonna set up nicely.
Nice.
Down he goes.
Now Spleebie's gonna enter Turtle Rock at roughly the same time Fantallis is heading over to fight Ganon.
Ganon having the moment asking about what kind of burrito would you be?
It's a deep life question right there.
Very deep.
Now it's just 12 slashes with the Tempered Sword to get Ganon down. Okay, Fantallis does have some potions to back him up. Looks like he's gonna go for the magic cape strat.
Yeah, just needs to get to 12 sword slashes. And we are into phase 3.
Yep, now it's just 1 hit per time that Ganon stomps on the floor. Spleebie trying to get an item dashed with the cape there, but not quite getting it.
Alright, and with that, Fantallis is into phase 4.
Yep.
Just 4 silver arrows to the face, and that's game. Didn't get the torch glitch though. And he's really low on magic.
He does have a green potion still though.
Alright. Well, he's got a double there, so he's out of magic, though. There's that green potion. So just 1 more. There we go. That should do it. And that's game.
Oh, and Spleebie taking a death to the King Chomps.
Right as Fantallis finishes. Just walk in that door, and Fantallis finishes with an official SRTV time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 53 seconds. Spam those GGs in chat.
Definitely an interesting seed for sure. Meanwhile, we're going to see Spleebie through to the end as he continues to clear out Turtle Rock.
And we are joined by Fantallis here in chat. GG.
Thank you.
How did you feel about that seed?
Oh, that was disgusting. What was that? That's the nastiest thing I've seen all week, honest to God.
All right.
This is my fault for writing no ice in my character creation. Like, you write no ice in there, you get a forced double dip of Ice Palace. I haven't seen that in months.
Which is funny because actually, if you did steal a key from the back, it wouldn't have been a double dip.
Oh yeah, that does make sense. Oh, well,
It's definitely an oddly
guess it's a-
specific circumstance, though.
It's just nasty. Anyway,
So I have a question for you.
sure.
We noticed that early on you took a death and escape, and there were a couple times where, specifically in Thieves Town, I saw you miss a like a chest in the front. How are you feeling that? Yeah, one of, like the third chest you would normally check in Thieves Town, you just walked right by it.
Well, that makes that that explains why I left there with an incorrect amount of items.
So how are you feeling after that early death and escape?
Just off. You know, there was no time during that seed at all that I felt okay about it. From like late hammer is just.
I definitely agree with you. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I completely blank. I almost did the same thing in Skull Woods, to be honest. I almost left there without looking for the second item. That was, and Ice Palace was just full panic mode.
Which, for the record, that one chest you missed in Thieves Town was just a 5 rupee, so you didn't miss anything important.
God, that wound up being something.
Yeah, other than that, though, how did you feel like your execution was in terms of this game itself?
I think it went back and forth. Like that Ganon fight was pretty bad, and I forgot how to do bomb escape, I guess. Some of the rest of it was okay. I don't know. A lot of the time, I'm not great at routing. I'm more all right at, execution's not always the best thing for me. Usually routing tends to work out a lot better. That's what I work on. So I think it was above mediocre, but
I mean, your route, I don't want to say you got lucky. I'm trying to figure out how to word this judiciously. You did the shovel spot before going to Death Mountain, which helped you only have to go up Death Mountain once before the Aghanim run, where Spleebie went up Death Mountain before shoveling for the hook shot. So,
right.
You know, I don't want to say like it was luck. I don't want to say lucky, but basically like some of your routing decisions paid off. Certainly.
There's well, yeah, it's not, honestly, like a lot of things like that are calculated decisions. They're not you thinking to yourself, like you can't, I don't know, I have a lot of philosophies for this, but one of them is you can't just go to item dense places because they're item dense. You wind up hurting yourself a lot doing that. And yeah, in this case, like doing that first was the right idea. But then there was a lot of other stuff, like that philosophy kind of gets thrown completely out the window whenever it's hammer go mode. For me, anyway.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things where you're like, I don't want to go there without hammer. I don't want to go to Pod without hammer. I don't want to go to Ice Palace without hammer. I don't want to go to Swamp without hammer.
Hammer is surprisingly useful. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say both of you actually forgot that you need the hammer just to even get to Cold Stare.
Oh yeah, that first entire dip into Ice Palace was complete panic mode, honestly. That's it was just, yeah, it was just like, you know, hammer's got to be here. And then the other thing about Ice Palace is the iced tea room was open to me, and as I was leaving, I was like, oh yeah, the iced tea room was open to me. Oh, good.
Yeah, luckily in the iced tea room, it just turned out to be the big key, which only led to the map. So you didn't miss a lot there either.
I figured it, as I was thinking about it after I left, I figured it must be the map. Or it must probably be the big key. But
Right.
bleh.
So I think the only other question I have for you was, man, did this seed give you fireworks early? Because you had like so many, you got bombs to start from Uncle, and then like it just kept giving you bombs and bomb upgrades. It just was so much explosiveness.
Yeah, that was really, really problematic. I don't like that. How on earth did I get a 147 collection rate? I guess once it's hammer go mode, you get to bypass a lot of. Anyway, yeah, that was really, really. It was problematic. It was problematic having just bombs and then just a couple of other things to work with.
It was interesting because it was the 10 bomb item, but because you already had the 5 bomb upgrade in Link's house, it actually turned out you got 15 bombs to start.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right,
Not something I was familiar
Spleebie
with.
Spleebie has picked up the big key in GT and the small key, so he's on his way to the gauntlet right now.
Yeah, was there anything else you wanted to say, Fantallis, about the seed, or anything else in general?
Not really. I'm kind of happy that one's over.
Yeah, I definitely know that feeling.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I don't think I've seen one that. I hate hammer go mode. I hate hammer go mode. I hate Ice Palace.
It certainly was one of the more unique seeds I have ever seen.
I hate hammer locked behind Ice Palace. Actually, that's the first time I think I've ever witnessed one of those that I had to do, where the hammer was logically locked behind Ice Palace and required you to go back inside.
And especially when it's locked in Desert Palace. I actually have that exact same, and that exact same chest yesterday was the go mode from my race, so
Yeah.
definitely know that feeling.
Well, GG to you, Fantallis. You're more than welcome to stick around with us as we watch Spleebie head up the gauntlet, picking up some fairies here before making that ascent.
Well, with Master Sword, it's going to be a little bit harder for him, but he should still turn out all right.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Spleebie forgot to do coffee break room and missed the sword upgrade there.
Trying to fire rod, but it was a little short on magic. Man, I want to know whose idea it was to put all this ice in these rooms. Definitely not my favorite.
Must have been for the challenge.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, while we are watching Spleebie take on Lambo 2, we have one race going on right now on Speed Gaming between Dave and Lightyear. That is the last race we have tonight. And then at 10 a.m. we have 2 races going on. One between Elmagus and Sage Lord 38 on Speed Gaming 4. On Speed Gaming 1 at 10 a.m., we have Kepasagi versus Titus Zect. And then we also have a race at 11 a.m. between Dark Dylan and Sonarath 11 on Speed Gaming 3. And from there, the randomizer just continues on and on for the rest of the day. I will do a selfish plug that we have the 2v2 Mystery Seed Finals going tomorrow. I don't know which ALTTP randomizer channel, but it will be between Team Furiam, which is Furamei and Kyung92 versus Korak the Boker of Korak and Act the Boker. So be on the lookout for that. We will have we will be broadcasting the finals of that Mystery Seed tournament on one of the ALTTP randomizer channels.
Yeah, the 2 versus 2 tournament is definitely interesting, and definitely check that out if you haven't seen it before, because they can get any combination of like key sanity, entrance randomizer, enemy randomizer. It can be a really fun time to watch.
And I say selfishly because I'm commentating that race.
Ah, there's the selfish part. Still though, definitely worth checking out, and plenty of rando over the next little while to keep you guys entertained.
Yeah, we are in week 4 of the 7-week Swiss stage. And then we have a 128 bracket that we then have to whittle down to get a champion. Oh no! Spleebie is one a small key short.
Dang, he forgot the key. Or did he kill? Oh, okay.
Okay, there we go.
Saved by the mini Helmosaur that he forgot to kill. I definitely know that pain. That's a mistake I've made more than once.
Yes.
Wow, Wilmorm kind of trolling himself in the corner there.
Apparently. Normally I say if the runner puts Cold Stare in a corner, but Trolldorm put himself in a corner there.
I haven't seen that in a while.
But Spleebie gets Trolldorm down.
Beautiful. Gets his final explosive pack. It'll still be interesting. I know he's been practicing Master Sword Ganon a lot lately, but it is a pretty difficult thing to do. Luckily, he does have silver arrows, though, so that'll make it a bit easier.
Certainly help. Otherwise, it would be 24 Master Sword spins to finish off Phase 4 Ganon.
But honestly, that's the easier of the parts, at least I feel, for me. I have the hardest time with the first phase of Ganon, where you have to get him when he's doing all that damage.
And a nice double there to finish off Aga 2. Yeah, honestly, for me, the Phase 4 is the more riskier one, just because of being able to fall off the ledge.
And Spleebie is going to go on into his Ganon fight. One wonders where those other 2 swords were. Probably in GT, because there's a lot of items in GT.
Well, there's only one we missed.
Well, on the east side, but we didn't touch the west side, did we?
No.
You mean swords? Yeah. Okay.
Why? What did you say?
I was thinking you were meaning in Ganon's tower itself. I was like, wait. But then I remembered that we have 3 swords. There's only 1 missing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Spleebie's got to be careful. Oh, he's got a blue potion. He's gonna use cape first. Good idea there. You can get 2 right in that little area. You can get 2 hits per slash. Although he
and he ran out of magic. That is definitely sad. Oof, that one had to sting. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, round 2.
Yeah, Master Sword spins and Tempered Sword do the same amount of damage, and so that's why this is possible, but very slow, because regular Master Sword slashes don't do a thing to him. Gotta be careful. He's
Gotta be careful.
yeah, low on health again. Ooh, barely avoiding them fire bats there.
So far, so good, though. I mean, honestly, I would have taken that potion by now.
Right, but I mean, when you know you've already lost, might as well have a little bit of fun, I guess.
This is
Something.
true. He's certainly doing a lot better dodging the bats than I would.
Oh yeah. I cannot like dodge those fire bats to save my life.
Technically, Spleebie is having to dodge those bats to save his life right now.
Oh,
Oh, why did I have to say that?
wow. Cursing people again.
Uh,
It looks like he's gonna go for it though.
I think he's gonna go get a fairy first.
But no no fairy up. Oh, he's just gonna get the one from the tree. He still has one more blue potion though, right?
Yeah, he hasn't used that potion yet.
Okay. Alright, he's got it this time.
You know what they say about third times?
Charm. Or something. Would have gotten the corner set up, but hadn't dealt quite enough damage for that yet. But with that spin, he should have... Or maybe it's this one. Nope, I guess he still had one more. I lost count. 'Cause it's 12 spins for the first phase, and then 12 spins for this, but only while Ganon's spinning the trident, or later. It's kind of weird mechanics in this fight. This time he's opting for that potion.
Yep. And then gonna get that cape out. Ooh, and that sets up nicely to do the double spins. Although again, he's gotta be careful once he runs out of magic.
Yeah, luckily this time he has the health to tank through it, but he's still got one or two more spins. I lost count again. There we go.
Right.
That's the phase.
That is phase 3.
Oh wow.
He is stocked up.
Yeah, he's got plenty of potions. Interesting technical plug about this fight, or this phase, is even if you hit Ganon more than once, it doesn't have an effect because his HP will just reset to the same amount every time. So hitting him more than once is really pointless.
All right, we're into phase 4. Spleebie is gonna burn that potion because he needs it for the torches. Fortunately, not gonna get that torch glitch.
So that's the only magic he has to work with.
Yep.
Ding.
Only gets one though.
There's the second. And he's gonna opt for the lamp instead.
Yeah, that's certainly a wise move there.
Oh yeah. Oh, almost taking the fall there, but luckily it was just close enough.
All right, that should do it. Down he goes.
Awesome.
GG to Spleebie.
Yeah. Did a fantastic job despite this seed being the seed it was.
For the seed to be and still finish with an official SRTV time of 2 hours, 16 minutes, and 15 seconds, Spleebie did a really good job. Spam those GGs in chat.
Well, and we are joined in chat by Spleebie himself at GG. In just a moment, anyway.
That helps if I hit the mute button.
There we go.
That'd help a little bit.
Yeah, GG Fantallis. That seed was nuts.
How you feeling?
I made all the wrong plays. I needed to just go to Ice Palace. That was so bad.
Yeah, it's definitely a bad place to have the progression. Like the one fetch quest item that led, or not fetch quest item, the one item that led to the hammer being in the dungeon you need to finish. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
You guys were actually pretty close for a while. Both of you actually did take a death in the escape sequence. I don't know. But yeah, it really. But it was actually pretty close for a while.
Yeah, it took me a while to remember that you can't use Quake without a sword. When I was dumb, I was like, "Oh, here's Quake. I'll just use that for the stupid key rat."
Yeah,
Doesn't work so well.
We were noticing.
But yeah, I was really happy with Argus. That was amazing. I've never been able to do that.
Yeah, I missed what happened. Was it the quick kill?
Yeah, Master Sword. So it was 3 fire rod shots and a Master Sword spin.
Nice.
Very nice.
It was ridiculous.
Hopefully someone clipped that for us. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember. The one unfortunate thing for you, though, was there was a sword upgrade in the coffee break room in Hera.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
So I'd say that made a pretty good difference because Fantallis got that and had it for a while.
Yeah, I think I miscounted Hera because I thought that there was nothing down there.
Well, at least it was at least that one wasn't the hammer.
Yeah. Oh man.
Other
I'd
than
still
that,
be looking for it.
You guys made pretty similar routing choices, actually. There was slight divergence here and there, but for the most part, you guys followed pretty much the same route.
Yeah, it felt there was a good portion of it where it was pretty linear up until you kind of got stuck by that hammer, and you were supposed to guess that you were supposed to go into Ice Palace before doing, 7 or 8 or 9 other things.
Right.
Yeah, Ice Palace with no hammer where you can get maybe one thing. It's like...
Yeah, between the small keys and the map and compass and big key, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's only
it's
like
true.
2 items that you can get without the hammer.
But it's like there's no guarantee how many, and the fact that the first chest happened to be a small key, if you'd actually gone in there, you'd be like, okay, well, this is probably the right decision because it's actually giving me access to the whole dungeon. But first, you had to go in there.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. But why go to Ice Palace when it's more fun to go check pedestal, check the tablets, check
Go
Dippin'
to Ice
Bomb
Palace.
Palace, you know?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Why
Even
go
though
in
the pendant at that point logically couldn't have had anything on it, but I probably would have checked it too.
I knew Ped couldn't, because I couldn't get into the desert, but
Oh yeah, I
or
guess that's
Pod
true
without
too.
the hammer.
Or yeah, Pod was the other one.
Oh, did Fantallis go into Pod at all?
Yep.
Yeah, Ice Palace was definitely the last possible play.
Yeah, after seeing the file names.
Ugh.
That was the question. Was that no ice for no ice palace or no ice rod?
That was no Ice Palace. I don't want to go into Ice Palace, let alone twice.
Yeah. That's pretty bad.
It was I'd say it was a problem also going into desert as well, because you see in there, oh, it's boots locked. And, well, I guess if I need to be here at some point, then boots will show up. So, noped right out of there.
Yeah, for sure. But other than, the awful seed itself, how do you feel you did this seed, Spleebie?
I'm pretty good. I had a couple issues, but I think my execution overall was pretty good. I don't know.
Is there anything in particular you think you're going to practice after this, or?
Going into Ice Palace first.
Well, execution-wise, anyway.
No, I'll have to watch it back and then decide something I can't even remember.
Yeah.
Well, bombs. I need to practice bombs.
Yeah, bomb escape can be kind of difficult. Bombs are so, inconsistent. Well, yeah, was there anything else either one of you wanted to say before we go ahead and wrap this up?
Just thanks to everyone that put the restream together, commentator, tracker, Speed Gaming, for putting this on.
Yeah, you guys are great.
Well, thanks.
Thank you you guys for running this. This was a very painful seed, but it was certainly a pleasure to watch as it unfolded. So with that, I think we're gonna wrap up shop here. We still have another race going on the Speed Gaming channel. We of course want to give one last shout out to our tracker Space Cowboy 2011. Again, be sure to follow both of our runners, Spleebie and Fantallis. Again, props to you guys for the very entertaining but I'm sure trolly seed on your end.
And I also want to thank you, Jex Ruffy, for being here. I know you had a crazy day at work, but thanks for taking the time to be here with me. It was good fun.
It's a good way. Commentating is a good way to wind down after a long day at the office. And also, thanks to you, Dark and Sky. It was certainly a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, I've been Dark and Sky.
And I've been Jex Ruffy, and you all have a great evening.